We're going to recreate this dashboard on my screen and make it into something like this. All you just have to do is to get the dataset downloaded to your system, and I'm going to show you how to make the transformation that gives you what you are seeing on your screen right now. Previously, we have actually transformed this into something like this. So we have the video on our YouTube channel in case you want to check it out. So go ahead and do that. So right now is this one you can see right now on your screen that we're going to transform to make it look just like what you have on your screen right now. If you're ready, let's do it. If you opened the PBIX you have downloaded, you're going to find this and the other one right in it. So this is the one we're going to be using right now. Previously, we have actually worked on this particular one on my screen right now. So you can go ahead and try to look at how we created this particular dashboard makeover right here. So we have other videos on this particular channel that can actually help you to learn Power BI and Microsoft Excel fast. So if you want to consider coming to the home page to search for which particular one would help you, so be it. Okay, we're here. The very first thing I'm going to do now is that this is looking good, not bad. It has lots of insight, but we can make it much more better than what we are seeing now. The very first thing to start the makeover is for you to click on this. This is what is used for the background. We're going to remove this. You can look at it right now. You can see what I've done. You can just go ahead and delete it. It's optional. I would like to create my own background in PowerPoint. So for that, I don't need it. So for the time being, I don't actually need to have this title. And for the KPI cards, we don't have to keep those KPI cards right here. We're going to get them away. So hold your control key to select this, and as well the slider should be taken off. So I am going to delete them and hit my delete key. All right, with what I've done right now, I want to create a slicer that looks much more beautiful than what we have. And that slicer would carry some images. So what I need to do now is to actually click over here under build. So once you're under build, you have this particular visuals right here. So I want to pick a slicer, but not just a slicer. Instead, I need a new slicer. I have my new slicer here. I'm going to stretch it out just like this for the time being, right? The next thing I'm going to do right now is to actually go over to my data and come to this particular table right here. Open it up, you find the name. All right, those are the style lists we have. So we have to just count how many are there. As you can see, 3 at the top and 2 below, which is 5. So it is time for we to actually go over to the format area and we click on the layout. From the layout, we scroll a little bit down and we can see here we have grade. I'm going to turn it to single row. When I turn it to single row, this is what you find. So the remaining 2 is below. So if you want to reveal it right now, you would have to scroll down. So we don't need something like this. Instead, we make sure we put this at 5. So now we have all the 5 showing up. So we go ahead and close this. Then for the title, we don't actually need a title. Okay. Next right now is that we want to get the image right in here. So we have this particular part to get to our image. So if I click on it, I will just scroll a little bit down. Now you can find where it says field. Go ahead and add data. Now from there, you can actually click on this table. Then you click on this particular images. All right, we have our images right in here. For the time being, we're going to actually keep this and let us look at if this is interactive. When I click on this image, this is what I have. And what is selected gives us this particular color. the same thing right here. All right. So this does not make a lot of sense to me. For the time being, we're going to come back to format this, but we're going to leave it like this for now. So if you look at it, every single time I make a selection, now I'm going to deselect it, everything comes back live. You see that? Okay, what are we trying to achieve here? We want to get another, should I call it external? Yes, we want to get an external visual that will help us to display this particular person selected in bold. Then we bring up the information of the person, like the name, the age, the revenue, the transaction he has had over time, and as well the customer rating as part of it. So to do that right now, we're going to need this later. We're going to need this one here later. So both of these two here will be needed. I'm going to keep this one beneath here. So this one here, we don't need to keep it. We don't actually need to keep this one. So for that, those are cards. We can destroy those cards we have right here. Okay, let me first of all get this one destroyed. I can just expand this one for the time being to make use of it. All right, let's go now and pick up a visual we're going to use. Head up to Insert, and from Insert, click over here. So nothing seems to be clickable right now. You can see how the visuals are actually blank. That was because we selected a card. Nevertheless, we don't actually need the visual. We need to go get a visual. So we are heading up to the marketplace where we can search for a lot of visual. So I'm going to type in here image. So when I type in image, I have a lot of options right here. So what I want to use right now is this particular simple image. So go ahead and get it. It's 100% free. Now, as you can see, it's free. Click on add. Okay, it says visual already exists. So we can just cancel and we go ahead and search for that visual if we have it already in here. Why? Okay, let's see. Let's scroll down and find if that is true. On hovering, we found this particular simple image, which is the one we're looking forward to getting from the marketplace. So I can just resize this over here right now. So I wouldn't concern myself about the size yet. Let's go over to tables. Here I'm going to get in the images. So you can see whenever I actually make a change from here, it's going to update this one for me. You can see. All right, we have gotten this in here. So let's all see what is next. The next thing is that we have this particular white space inside our image. So let's go to this particular part. We don't need that. We're going to come over here and scroll a bit down and say for this, we're going to turn this off. Okay, that is the background. After that, we can go to image settings right here, and is on normal, we can click on fit. So can you see that right now? That is all you need to do right there. So if you don't want to go with the fit, you can go with none. Oh, none looks weird. I think normal seems to be right. When we actually ensure fit, it's going to stretch our image, which is not really cool. So let's go with normal. And now you can see we have this space here. You wouldn't know that we have this space until we turn on the background. So for that, we don't want to have extra space here. So top left, let's see if we just do middle center. And that is cool. So now this is exactly what it is that we need to have. So for now, I don't actually need this one to be here. I can go ahead and turn it off. So it's gone. Okay, you can now see what I have right here. This is exactly what we want to have here: the name, the age, the revenue, and the transaction plus the rating. Which is very simple. I would love to get a card, just a single card like this, right? So once I get this card in, what I'm going to get in here is, first of all, the name of the person selected. So I can just go ahead and make it this way, then come over here and turn this off. For the time being, we can just give a default of 25, right? So we just go ahead and do this, and we go over here, we turn off this, right? So we bring this over here. So to get for the age, we just do duplicate and we bring this down and we take the age of the stylist. So we can just reduce this like this. And now we have to get for the revenue, which is very easy. We search for the revenue by deselecting the name from here. Now we go for the revenue, and total revenue would come up right here. So I'm going to show you the measure that powers this revenue here. So if I click on this right now, it's very simple. It's just for you to sum the column that actually captures the revenue of individual stylist. All right, the next thing I'm going to do right now, I don't want my revenue to look like this. I would rather go ahead and go through here, and instead of me having it on auto, I'll choose none. Then here we go. So you can just do this reduction. All right, what is next now is for we to get a transaction, which is simple as well. So I would have to go ahead and deselect what is selected as name here, and I would type in transaction. So for my transaction is this one here. If I click on it, it's just a simple count rows, counting the numbers of rows we have inside the transactional table. That gives you the numbers of transaction, right? Okay, the next one now is for we to actually calculate the rating, which I'm not really sure if we have done that before, but I can go ahead and actually search and see if we have the rating already existing. So we do rating. Oh, we have customer rating. Then if I bring in my customer rating right now, I can bring it in. So we can come over here and get off what is inside it before we can check this. So our customer rating is returning 27,000, which is really crazy, or 2,724 rather, which is crazy. So we don't want to get something like this. What do we do to get the actual rating? So we are going to average, listen to that. We're going to average the main rating to give us what it is that we want, right? We'll definitely go over to here, have this cancelled. So right now we go to where we have our calculations writing. I will do new measure. So 2,724 is the whole rating of that the customer gave in aggregation, but we don't need that. We can say average rating, or we can say average customer rating. Okay, so it's going to be equals. So right now, what we're going to do is to use the average function to get what we want done. So with the average function, we bring in our rating in here, then we close and we hit our enter key. So instead of us showing up this very one right here, right now, we will rather show that average rating we have just created. Okay, as you can see, the average rating of this particular customer is, of this particular stylist is actually 2.89. When we actually make sure we run this, it's going to give us something different, like 2.9. So let's do that. Click on your measure and go over to auto and put 1 decimal place right here. That would round 9 to 8. So adding 1 to 8 is going to give us 9. All right, we have it. I'm going to make it smaller and keep it right here. We arrange it later. Okay, once we have gotten this done, this is cool. We need to get a star rating. Okay, where do we get that from? We're going to get that from the marketplace. So we can see ratings by MAQ. Very easy to get. Just go to the marketplace and more visual. So over the search bar here, we search for rating. So you can see we have this rating here. We have this one here. So I'm going to go with this one. This is one we have actually, used. I don't know about this. You can try it out and see if this works for you. Although I have gotten my star rating before now. So all I just need to do is just to click on it and get it right in here. So my star rating is here. All we have to do is to just bring in the average rating into it. So we have something like this. So remember, this is very dynamic. So whenever we make a change of, let me keep it over here. So watch me do it. If I click on this person right here right now, automatically it's going to change what I have in it. So can you see it? So it's changing this based on what is here. So you can see it's giving us 4.2. This is half star. And absolutely, this is what we're looking forward to seeing. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do right now, I will just keep this over somewhere around this place, right? So I would love to get the ranking of everyone. So I think we have something like that before. I'm going to search for it. So rank. All right, we already have it. So if I click over here, we have rank. So the rank is very simple. It's actually utilizing concatenation to concatenate rank number, and the barber's rank or the hairstylist. Then if I come over here, this is where the main measure is. So the measure right here uses the rank X. And it does that by removing all, by using all to remove filter from this so that it can compare one stylist to the other and return how the person is ranked. So we do the same thing because we want to have it from we want to use one of somebody with the highest revenue for the second person and stuff like that. That is what we have done right here. So we are not going to use this. Instead, we created something like this. Right? Okay. I'm going to get this right now. What I will do is that I want to create, okay, I think we would rather use this very one here, not the one here. This one had been used separately, differently in another video, but right now we need to create something different. Let me show you something new you can do with it. So instead of us to get a concatenation like this particular text we have over this one here, rank number with this, I would love to create something different. So what we're going to do right now is to click on the text box here. So using the text box, we can actually bring it down here and stretch it to open it up like this. So once we have done this right now, what I want to do is just inside it, I can just go ahead and put it at 16. So we have it. Okay. I can type in it like, so I can type in it like this, ranked. So let me just increase this to 18. So ranked number with full stop, that's just the shortcut of number. So now I want to see what rank is this particular person right here. What I will do right now is to bring in this particular measure we have right in here. So to do that, we click on this particular value area, and that gives us this Q&A. So we now type in what? So we type in the name of this particular measure. So we are expecting to see if this is correct. We should see the name over here. Scroll down. No result yet. So we have to verify if this is 100% correct, which it is. We can just give it some few seconds. It's going to come up. So click over here to initiate a search. And once we scroll down now, we should see it. So it's 100% correct because it has one for us. This is it here. Go ahead and save. So now you have this. I would highlight again and put it on 16. Okay, let's go with 18. Now ranked 1. I'm going to say among other barbers. Okay, this is what we want to create, and it's 100% dynamic. Whenever we make any changes, it's going to affect what we have right here. So maybe your question is like, why are you having this? You can actually decide to some kind of give this particular number 1 here a different color right now to match your whole background, and work. You can do that. But when you do this normal concatenation right here, you can't really play around with it and stuff like that. So let's see if I select this particular person right now. This person is ranked number 2. As you can see, we have gotten it. It's ranked number 2, and the star rating is actually 3.2, and that is exactly what it is. Okay, I'm going to tell you first time that we are done with this particular part right here. The next thing now is for you to come over here. Don't worry, we are going to clean everything up later after all and create our background. So this one here seems to be quite okay. I like it. And this very one here shouldn't be like this. We want to change the kind of chart we use here to a different chart, right? Okay, what I'm going to do now is just to move this a little bit right here. And on this particular one, I would use this. I'm going to bring it somewhere around here. And for the time being, I'll bring this down, right? So what I want to do right now, this one is actually giving us transaction. Instead of we having transaction over here, we would rather have something else. So let's go over here. And right now, I would be using my revenue instead. So we're using the revenue, and this revenue is not looking in any way beautiful, right? So what can we do to actually fix this number we have right here? It's showing us since 0.02 million, and that doesn't make any damn sense. So let's go down. Over here, we have the value. So once we click on the value here, we can go over to where we have the auto writing here and change it to none. Okay, maybe this is what you want. To me, it looks okay, and to you, it might be looking okay right now, but we can do something better than what we have done right now. Okay, what are we talking about? Why don't we decide to show this in percentage instead? Like, show it in percentage. Maybe the question you will be having right now is that, will that actually make any damn sense, showing it in percentage? Oh, I don't know. Maybe. Okay, this is what it is. We can show it in percentage and have an option for somebody to click and show the values like this. How do we go about it? All right, what we need to do is just to create one measure. So now we are creating a new measure. Our measure is ready. So I'm going to name this one here percentage of revenue. So which is going to be equals. So we want to identify what percentage of revenue we are creating for what. Is it for department, for, haircut, whatever. So we indicate this right in here. Okay. With this right now, we're going to use the divide function. Divide function will divide the I'm thinking, how could we do this? All right, inside our divide function, what we want to do now is very simple. We are going to use the calculate function. So with the calculate function, I think before the calculate function, we want to divide our total revenue like this here, revenue. And we actually go ahead now and use the calculate function to change the context like calculate. So revenue like this. And we say what we need now is for we to remove filter using the all function. And we ignore filter from the style. That is service type. Yeah, I think service type, we'll have the hairstyle. Yeah, service type. We close and we hit shift enter. We go ahead and close this. So this is all we need, right? So if I hit my enter key right now, we want to verify if this is actually working. So we need to convert this into a percentage. That's what it is. So I'm going to come over to this page here. So we have this. So instead of me showing up these ones here, I would actually go ahead and convert this into, go to name, and we go to this target transaction and hairstyle. So we have the hairstyle here. I wouldn't love to see this. I'm gonna get this away and change it into the new one created. And that is gonna be our percentage. So here we have the percentage right in here. So it's giving us 100%. What could be the problem? Let's click back on this. Okay. The results here is that we are taking something off from service type and we have hairstyle right here. All we have to do right now is to take off this and we come up with a hairstyle like this. So we close and hit the enter key. This time around, we should have the correct version of what we're looking for based on percentage. Okay, now it works. So always verify what you're doing with a table. Physically, you can see your result. Instead of you using a chart that would, I want to show you an example of what I'm talking about. Remove this away from here. So this chart looks beautiful. It looks okay, but it can't tell you what it is that you want, even though when you turn on the data label. So the assurance of getting what it is that you're looking for to see is low. So instead of doing this, you can always use table to verify first and see truly that, oh, this does calculate the percentage for you and you have it 100%, right? This is what we want. So all I want right now is just to round this. Let's go with 1 decimal place. So this is the first step to go, right? Once we have gotten this done, we can head back here right now. So we're back here. The next thing is for we to go to modeling here and we go ahead and create a parameter. Go to fields. So we are here. I'm going to do revenue switch. So with my revenue switch, I select this particular box right here. I go to my calculations and I select this very one. And I go for where I have the revenue right in, which is, if I can't find it quickly, all I have to do is just to make a search. So it's made it easy. So we get this revenue. So what I'm going to do now is just double click on this one and I'm going to take off this particular part from it. So we have the percentage and we have the main value here. So this is all we need to do. We click on create. Okay, this is where the font sets in. So right now I'm going to bring this closer to this one here. So if I make a selection, nothing will definitely happen. So you can see nothing happens. So select this particular chart. Once selected, click over here. So now, instead of us showing this revenue here, we'll rather click on this particular part and change it to what we have just created right now. So collapse this variable and revenue switch, click on this one here and select this one. Okay, it seems nothing changed, but that is not true. Something changed. So let's go over to percentage right here. You can now see we're displaying this based on percentage. If I go on a focus mode right now, we're seeing this based on percentage, but because of the color we have for the values, we can't see it better. But right here, you can see whenever we make a switch, we have something like this, we have something like this, which means we have given the end users the ability to select percentage, and we still have something nice to look at. All right, so it depends on which person here you have selected. You're going to see the percentage will update accordingly. This is the first thing you need to do, right? Okay, this one should come over here. So the next thing right now is that this chart we have here look okay. Let us talk about space management. And not just because of that, it's because the chart we're about to use would actually make a lot of sense with what we are doing. If it doesn't make any sense, no matter how the space is small, we'll still feel like use it with the right chart. So right now, this chart looks beautiful. Okay, not disputing that this chart is not okay, but we can use a better chart than what we have right here, right now. So what do? So we have two types of services. So we have the haircut and we have the shave. So what I'm going to do right now is to actually come over here, right click, and you create a new measure. Okay, with this new measure here, I'm going to call this total shaves. So for the total shaves, we just use this simple calculate function here. So with the calculate function, we are going to go with revenue. And where is that located? I think it's in service type. So service type where it is equals. So you have to get the exact text you have right there. So it's not case sensitive. You can use small letter or true. It's all your choice. So once you have done this, you go ahead and close and you hit the enter key. Now this would have given you what you want. But the thing is this, I don't want to use the value anywhere. So why do I have to actually go ahead and do something like this and create a different one? So instead, I'm going to take off the total from here and I'll use this percentage, right? So with the percentage used here, I'm going to use divide at the top. So divide this very number for shaves by the whole of our revenue here. So with that, we can close. Can you see how simple it is? I will just go ahead and copy this right here and hit my enter key. Let's go ahead and create a new measure. We paste in here what we have copied and we rename it to haircut. And we have to use the same name over here. That is all we have to do. Now, our two percentages for this very chart here is 100% ready. So what it is. So for this haircut percentage, we expect to have 100%, but that is not going to be the case. So if we bring this into a card, you can see what we have is actually 85.1%, right? So we want to assume that we should have 100%. So what is left if what we want is 100%? Bring this particular shave into a card and say it's just 14.9%. So what is left before we get to 100%? That is what we need to create. So over here, we right click and we create a new measure. So our new measure is ready. I'm going to use R for the remainder of our percentage shave. So let's use so we do this. So to get this created, what I'm going to do right now is just to say 100%. Oh no, we have an error already, which means we cannot use 100% in Power BI. It does not support it because Power BI does not support text. So this percentage that we joined with 100 is a text. So if we have to use it, we have to put it inside a double quotes like this. But still, it does not really work. So what do we do instead? That means we have to put this and we have to add this to it and we have 100%. That still make everything to be a text. So instead of doing this, we can use a decimal point of 100 and that was going to be, so we have just actually created a decimal of 100%. So with this now, we're going to subtract our shave from it. So we go for this. Can you see it now? Very simple. We hit the enter key. So we can decide not to format it as a percentage because we don't even need to show this. It's optional. If you want us to format this, so be it. So the next thing I'm going to do right now, I'm going to use this same thing here, copy, and we create a new measure. All I have to change here is this. And over here, instead of showing this, we'd rather show, I think, haircuts. So we hit the enter key and that would create for this. So now all the measures we need to put in place before we create our chart are ready. So it is time for you to create the kind of chart that would actually, go well with our dashboard. Okay, now we can have this removed. We don't actually need to keep this right here. They're gone. So let's come up here and look at this right here. So we're going to click on this particular stacked bar chart. So with the stacked bar chart, we are going to come up here and now we have this and we have this. Let's go for shave, percentage of shave. And what is remaining is this one here. So can you see it now? So which means if I hover over here right now, it gives us 14.9%. And what is left is this. You might not see this better. What if we click on this and convert it to a percentage? Right, we have taken it off from decimal to a normal percentage. So we have 85.14% left. So this is our blank area. And this one is going to be filling this right here. All right. So once we have gotten this created, we take off the legend, we take off the title. So now we don't want if people hover over it to show this tooltip right here. What we're going to do is to go over to properties and we turn off the tooltip. So whenever I hover over this right now, it does not show me anything. That is exactly what I want. Let's go back here right now. We click on the x-axis here and we go ahead and turn off the x-axis title and the value from it. Now it's gone. So here we go. We have something like this. So we don't want to have this kind of color. For the time being, we can just choose a color to show for our blank area. So we select which one we want to change. We want to change for this, right? So I'm going to select this one here and let's go with something like this. All right. So we'll just go ahead and make it as small as this. Now for the background I have on it, we have to take off the background. Sorry. So we need to go for size and style. So we clear off the background from it. So this is what we have. So we have this one for shaves. All we have to do is just to copy the same thing and paste it down. Then move this one down here. So click over here to make a change. Okay, if you check this right now, you can see it seems not to work, but you might not notice what is going on over here. You can see it's on focus mode. So if I click over to this particular one here, it's actually using percentage revenue haircut, right? Instead of using this very one here, so it's using a different one. And what the one it's using now is this one. This one has no filter. It's returning the whole thing for you with its filter being removed. So we made a mistake over there. In case you have actually done the same thing, let us fix it. So what we need to do right now, we come over to here and we take off this very one. So we choose to use this instead. And if I hit my enter key right now, that should update this for me. So you can see we have this right here. That is what I'm talking about. So we can scroll down, go to bars, and we change this very area like this. So this is what we want. So when creating dashboard, there will be a lot of mistakes along the line. All you just have to do is to think outside the box and quickly fix what your mistakes are. It's very, very easy if you can just, understand that mistake is part of your work. Okay, we have gotten everything we want created. So the next thing now is to fix how we can arrange everything to match and create something very beautiful. Let's create a custom background for our work. Previously, we have actually created what you are seeing on the screen right now. So right now we're going to create something like this, which is very simple to be created. All we have to do is to actually make sure we use the previous one we have actually created. I'm going to show you. So we are going to add a new one over here right now. So new slide. With this new slide here, all we have done is just to go ahead and have all of this removed from here. So with that, we go ahead to insert and we click on shape and we select the shape we want to use. So we use something like this over here. You can see what we have here. So before we go ahead and use this, we went ahead and go get a different shape. And this time around, we want to get this kind of shape here and we drag it in here. We put up our shape like this and we stretch the shape to go this way. So we made this a bit smaller, and this one we want to bring it to front. So once we bring it to front, we can have it above here and we bring this like this. So we want to make sure this one covers and we stretch it. So this one is going to be on a different color. So to get a color right now, go to format shape. From format shape, what do? We go over here and we select something like this. Over here, we select a white background or a white color rather. So we come over here and take off the outline from it and we click on this one, we take off its outline. So once we have done this, the next thing we have to do, if you look at this right now, we have something, same thing right here, but a bit different. Let's go ahead and get it. So I'm going to copy this one. Once I have it copied, I'm going to give it this very color. So with that, I would resize it and keep it above here, right? So with this one above here, I am going to duplicate it and give it white color. So with the white color now, I will bring it over here and just make it something like this. So here we go. I have to just reduce this over here and make sure it's in the middle of it. Then let's cover up this place. So this is what you need to get, right? So I might not do it perfectly because I spent some time doing all of this while working in Power BI, in PowerPoint rather. So if you look at it, we have this particular color. So what color have we used? We have used a custom color. I can just go ahead and copy the color code from here and show you what color we have used. So here we go. We have the RGB. You can see 244, 247, 254. And this here, if you read it, you will understand what it is. So come over here now, click over here and we can go to more colors. Then we click over to custom, and over here I'm going to paste in the color code in here, and I have this changed. So it can actually reflect this for me right now. So once I've gotten that done, the next thing is for me to go ahead and get the card I want to use. So go to insert and click over here, and we select and we get a card in here. So we can get our card anyhow we like. So we just do something like this, and we want to choose the color we want to use for our card. This color will be okay, and we go ahead and say no outline. So if you look at it right now, it's looking like this very card we have right here, right? It's just that we have rounded corner for this one. If we don't want the rounded corner, we can just make sure the rounded corner disappears. So we keep the card right here. The next thing, I'm going to get this very one we have right here, duplicated. I'm going to bring it down. So if I bring it down, if you look at what we have done here, I think it's a different thing entirely. Let's see what we can do. And let me go to this particular top. Then we go to shape. Let's do something like this. I would have to go now. So we can do this, and we bring it over here. So once we have it over here, we can go ahead and change the color to look like this. So you keep on adjusting it until you have how you want to go. So we want something to look like this. So just go ahead and stretch it down. Stretch it all the way up. So once you have done that, you go ahead and copy, and you keep this over here. It will give you something like this. This is what you do and have something like this right here. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to go back here, and you duplicate this. This time around, we're going to use a white background, just like what we have right here. So you just make sure it's not that big or that huge. So I'm going to keep it somewhere around here, and I will get this one duplicated and bring this one around here. Then I'm going to send this one, send it to back, then get a color white like this and take it inside. So here we get it. Then this place is going to be left like this. So I'm just showing you the rough work I've done to actually achieve this. And the next thing is for we to get this and the light bulb, which is very simple and easy that you can actually get. So now you have the idea. I already have this. I've just shown you how you can go about it. Let's get it. So over here, we are into our dashboard. Let's go over to the browse. Then let's go ahead and pick it up. So we go ahead and open. Okay, if there is something I've not shown you, that is how to export. So we are here, we want to export this now. We click over file, we click on export, we click on this change file type, and we click on PNG or JPEG, either of it could work. So once we have done that, we just go ahead and save anywhere we want to save into. We just click on save, and that is all. We just say just this one, it has saved our work for us. So we are back here right now. The very first thing I'm going to do is to take off this particular background from here. So I'm left with this. It's not looking anyway pretty. So we have to make sure we align things properly. So for those ones, I think we try. It's looking cool, but not very cool. So I'm going to click on this thing here and just adjust things like this. You see that? So over here on this one here, I would love to choose the same color. So just make sure you keep this somewhere around here. So bring it down. All right. So if I come over to this particular part right now, so we have our background here. So all we have to do is to use the same background, but we can't find the background we have used here. It's not really easy to get it mixed, but let us try. We are using something like this. Okay. I think we have gotten the same color, but it might not be exact color. We just need to play around and get it. Otherwise, we can go to PowerPoint and have it copied. So let me just play around with this and see if I can get something that looks similar. Okay, this one looks okay. The next thing I'm going to do right now is just to deselect this very one. Then go over to this here, Ctrl A, and come over here now and put it on white. This would look great. So we center it. So once we have done that, we can step off. So over here, you can see this number here. That was why I did this. I can hold my shift key and highlight it with my arrow to the right-hand corner. So I would love to change a different font that looks bold. So Area Blacks looks bold, and I can actually increase it from that of 18 to 20. And here we go. You can see it stands out. So every single time we select a different person, that will definitely change according to the number of the person's ranking and stuff like that. So we have gotten something like this. So let us work with this one. Over here, we have to disallow the data label from it. And the headings here, we take it off. So we can now make this a bit smaller. So now we go over to our background and turn it off. The next thing now is actually indicator fill. So the indicator fill, the color seems to be okay, but we can choose a different color, like this very color that matches our background right here. All right. So once we have done that, indicator background, we don't want any background. What we can do next is actually looking for this border. Right. Yes, we're going to put border on it. So we have border. That border will pull it out and it makes it to show up very well. So I think I love this. So you can actually play around with your border how you want it. We can put it on 3 and all of that. So we can put it on 1 that looks like this. I think I would enjoy to have it on 2. So something like this. So the next thing is for we to have the rating itself. So it's actually 2.5. So this is cool. So even when we select the person with the longest name, oh, this is where it gets weird. So we have to select this person with the longest name and move it a bit until we have something like this. So here we go. Compare this to what we had previously. This looks absolutely beautiful. Okay, now it is time for we to work with what we have right here. For the very first time, I would love to choose the new version of our slicer we have used previously. Then I go with this. So going with this is actually a very good option. I'm going to take off the title. So now we have to go to settings. No, layout rather. So we go to layout and we choose how many columns we want to see. Just 2 columns. So with my 2 columns, this is perfect. I would have to open it up to show for order. Yeah, like this. So I'm going to keep this over here. We don't need too much fancy work on this one. All we just need is just to get to go over to this. I think is going to be shape. No. I think here. That is not it. Oh, we go to button. So when we get to button, we scroll all the way down. The default one, we want to change its color, but we don't want border for it. So we go over to the fill color, right? So once we get to the fill color on the default, we want to change the fill color of the default to something like this. Whenever something is not selected, we want to see this. Then we not change the state to selected. The selected one now should actually utilize the color for our dashboard. When something is selected, we want to see something like this. But this is too bright. We can just go ahead and go over to more color and we select a darker version. Okay, to be on the safer side, we do this. So we are back here. We come over here and we go to more colors. We copy the hex code. So now we paste in the hex code we have copied over here. As you can see, this is what it gives us. So we can do the same thing over here to update this one if we don't really like the color we have right here. So we go over to size and style, and we just go ahead and use this. So now this is calm. So whenever we select, this is what we want to see. When I hover over it, I want to have the feel of a button. So how do I have that feel of a button when I hover over it? So we go back to button. So we click on hover. So with the on hover, you scroll down. On hover. Okay, with the on hover, I think not here, not button. We go to callouts value. So we scroll the way down. We select on hover. So with the on hover now, you increase this. So when you hover over it, this is what you have. On this, for the unselected one, this is what you have. Then it makes it feel like normal chat. So over here, I'm going to come and bring this down. So we want to have it here. So we need to have a title for it. Change this to match this color. You get it now? All right. Once we have done that, we go ahead and select the tar label. So we go to the value to change the color to match what we want. Then now the color should be something like this. All right. So we are going to change the position from where it is right now to a place position should be not quite. I think outside end will be very okay, like this, right? So what happens if I select the percentage? I have something like this. So the thing is this, I have to this y-axis here. On my y-axis, what I'm going to do now is just to make sure I give it the color, this. So it shows what I have right here for me. So I have to increase this a little bit. As you can see, I have added a title. It's just a text box. You can actually add and type something in here. And as well, I added this very one, and this one. That is peculiar to every one of the bears. Okay, for this very one here, I would like to change the color. So I'm going to go over to my bears. Then choosing the haircut percentage, which is this very one here, I will change it to this very one. This is beautiful. Okay, this one could go with this color, is okay, or you can decide to change it to any color that would actually match the color we have in here. So go from here and click on this one. Let us go ahead and click here. Then we are going to select something from here. Then let's go with this. I want to select a darker version. Okay, I think this will definitely work for me. So once I have done this, the next thing I have to do right now is to bring in the percentage that is peculiar to every one of them. So let's go with this one here. Ctrl C, Ctrl V to paste it, and this is going to come over here. So let's come to this particular part. Instead of us to show average, we're trying to show shaves. This is the percentage of shaves, right? So it's 7.9%, which is good. So let's clear this one first. So this is not really cool because it's too huge. We have to reduce this. So we go over here and we click on callout. Instead of 20, let us use 16 for an instance. So 16 seems to be quite okay. That is nice. So the next thing we have to do now is to actually copy and paste it. Then we'll remove the pasted one and bring it down here. Then we go over for this percentage of haircut. And that gives us 92.1%. So if you want to round it up, all you have to do is to click over here and you come to this particular part and you put 0 right here. So now let us compare this to what we have previously before we got this created. The next thing I'm going to do right now is to actually get this one sit rightly at this particular spot. Then I'm going to expand this out, right? Okay. The next thing I'm going to copy this very one and paste it down. Then move this one to this particular part. I am going to stretch it out to fit here. Then expand it up. Then the next thing I'm going to do now is to type in here. So salon with double O. All right, so Control A. Then I'm going to actually come here and use 20. 20 is cool. Let's go with 24. This looks better. So centralize this, right? Then let us choose a font that would look bold. This one looks quite okay. Then we're going to select something like this. Let's see it. Okay, this is cool. All we have to do to take off that scroll is to stretch it. And here we go. We have something like this. So if this look too much, we can go over here and we select this. Okay, you might want something light, just like this. This is not bad. Okay, over here, when I hover over it, nothing happens. I want if I hover over this, something should happen, right? And for the selected one, I want the selected one to be like this, and unselected one should be some kind of blur and with white background and something like that. So we are going to touch the saturation. So let's do it. So what we're going to do first is to make sure you have this selected. Once you have done that, let us go ahead and bring this up. So we are here, we go to the image. So when we are on the images, at default, this is what we have. So we want to change the color when we have selected something. So we go over here and say selected. So for the selected, what do we want for it? So we have to scroll all the way down to perform anything we want, right? So for the selected one, we want to leave it this way and we have to change the color. So we're going to scroll down and go to button. Oh, on the buttons sorry for that. We have the state for button and we have the state for image itself. So let us actually look how we can actually set our button now. So I'm going to go to selected for button and I will disable the border from it, right? So open up this one here, then click over this one. And for the selected one, we want to see the same color that matches this color that we have. So we have to be consistent, right? So once we have done that, let's go down. So what do we want to add again? I think we are good to go with this. So this is what we have done for the selected one. So when we hover, so on hover now, so nothing happens. So what do you want? On hover, we take off the border. So on hover, we might want something different. Let's go ahead and pick up a particular color from here. So let's do this for on hover. So when we hover over this, I think the hover is affecting this one. On hover is affecting this, which is not really bad. So we're going to go with this color on hover. But unfortunately, when we hover, the person's name is not showing quite well. So what do? We have to locate where we can actually set the name on hover. So that will be callout value. On that callout value on hover, we scroll down. We're going to change it to white. Let's go with white. So here, when I hover, it's giving me this. So I can actually decide to increase it a bit. So by 14, let's see. So when I hover, this is what I have. So it's going to give you this particular kind of effect right here. So for the selected one, we have something like this. All right. So once we are done with this, let's go ahead and take it off. So we are back to the image. On the image, the state is this. So we want to select the default. So for the default now, we don't want to have it like this. We want to actually put some kind of blur on it. So when I do this now, I'm going to tell you, I don't know why Microsoft did this. Maybe in the subsequent months to come, they will actually work around it and make sure it fixed. So what happens now is this. I put it on default. So this shouldn't be on default. So what do we do now? I'm going to take it back. So everything is back to normal now. So to fix this, you have to go all the way back here. So first of all, you choose selected. When you choose selected, you come down and apply the blur to it. So the blur is only affecting the selected one. Then you remove the blur out of it. Then you scroll back up again. You now take it to defaults. So for the default now, we can apply the blur. It will only affect the default one. You can see this is exactly what we want. So if we want some saturation, we can do something like this. So the saturation, what it does is that it's going to turn this into black and white. And if you look at it right now, the saturation is affecting the selected one as well. So if you really want to apply saturation, all you have to do is to go over to this default again and change it to selected and come right here, put saturation for the selected and have it removed again. Then you go back and select default. Once you have selected default, you can now put the saturation, apply the saturation you want. So this saturation only affects the unselected one. So this is exactly what you can do, right? So once you have done this now, we can scroll all the way. I think, let's see. Okay, I think we are good to go. So we can scroll down to the bottom part right here, and we are going to select defaults. So for the default one, I think this is okay. We don't need to do much. So I would go down. Default state for the fill color, I would love to put something like this. Okay, let's select the normal color. So this very one, right? This is for the default state. So what I will do now is to actually make sure I have a transparency on it. So that will make it different. So now, as you can see, it's affecting the selected one as well. So what do? Let's come here now and try this again over here. Then do this. Now, take it back. Select the default now. So, and reduce the transparency to as much as you like. It will affect this one. So I would love to have something like this. This is cool. So when I hover, I have this. Can you see it now? So this is exactly what you can do. So go ahead and compare it to what we have done previously before now and see how we have actually transformed this dashboard. So select any one of your choice. And what you see is that everything here changes as well. The image, the revenue, the star rating, and this is exactly what you should actually do.